The CSGO market gearing up for something crazy is something that I've talked about probably for over a month at this point. But today, I want to cover some more, what I believe to be even stronger evidence that we're going to see something crazy happen with price action in the coming weeks and coming months. So as always, if you guys do enjoy this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new, and check out my sponsor, Skinport. Skinport is a CSGO skin marketplace where you can find a ton of good deals, and today, if you're looking to buy a good looking older investment skin or a play skin, the Glock Dragon tattoo is only going to cost you 36 bucks on Skinport, while the cheapest listed right now on the Steam market is right around $58. Definitely just one of those skins that you get, forget about for a few months, and then sell for profit when you're sick of it. And when you go to sell it, there's only going to be a 12% selling fee on Skinport for real cash, or 6% if you sell an item over $1,000. So either way, be sure to sign up to Skinport with that link at the top of the description and start saving money on skins today. But for now, let's get right into the video. So let's just cut right to the chase. What signs on the market are showing me a lot of strength, but at the same time showing a lot of support? Well, the first thing that I saw was an increase in price in some play skins slash investment skins. They kind of doubled down as both. And what I mean by play skins slash investment skins, because it's kind of a weird topic that not a lot of people touch on, is skins that are usually in older cases, older collections. They look good. People buy them for the sole reason that they do look good, and not because they typically want to make money, and just hold on to them for a long time because they aren't really solely bought as investments once again. And they don't have supply issues typically like we see with the newer stuff. I made a whole video talking about this a week ago. If you want to know more, definitely be sure to watch that, as I don't want to explain all of that again. But either way, the main thing that I looked at right now was the butterfly knife, and it's the initial thing that got me thinking, and how around a month ago it was going through this crazy price increase. You can't see it fully on this chart because it only shows the past month, but they were increasing really significantly over pretty much since the end of November, and now we've seen them flatten out completely in the past few weeks. Normally this obviously isn't a sign of strength. They've just gone completely flat. I mean, it's not bad, it's not great. If you own it, whatever, but you aren't making money. It's just a boring time in the market. But to me, this is a really important time to see, and it proves to me that the market is really strong right now, and here's why. Typically, when we see a massive increase in price, like look at the trend on the Steam market of the butterfly knife back in April, May, June of 2021. It was going absolutely parabolic, just straight up. Huge spikes in price, which is great and all for some people, but not everyone, if we're just being completely honest. I can't tell all of you to sell at the top because there would be too many people selling for people to maintain that top price since it got there so fast. So this is why I like us seeing a pretty big increase in price in the past few months, but nothing completely parabolic. Like this time around, we're definitely slowly working up to that price and now flattening out, and rather than just absolutely coming crashing down like we saw last time in the summer months, this time around, we're once again just consolidating in price, flattening out, and people are proving that they will pay this price for the butterfly knife, even if it is much higher than it was months ago. And it's holding this price range for the past few weeks, and I think it will continue to and go even higher, but we'll get into that in a second. Just before that, I want to show you guys that I just didn't cherry pick some random skin that sees a price increase like this. If we look at the Emerald Eagle from Operation Shattered Web, we also see a clear bottom in November, and ever since this thing has been rising in price. But unlike the butterfly knife that just completely flattened out like we saw, these things are still rising in price slightly. It's kind of hard to see a perfect trend since there is so little of them sold, but they are still rising in price a little bit. Either way, if we scroll back and look when things were going absolutely parabolic, just like with the butterfly knife, you could see the trend is notably completely different. You want to see your skins slowly rising back in price to points that they were at earlier. You never want to really see massive spikes and dips all the time. If nothing fundamentally has changed with the skin, you can assume it will still be good in the long term, as long as there's no supply issues, stuff like that, which is why I really like older knives especially. But stuff like the Green Deagle, I'll call it the Green Deagle because Lord knows I can't pronounce the name, but stuff like that, older Operation skins that don't see huge supply issues, with Shattered Web kinda does, but not as much as Broken Fang and Riptide. Either way, let's not get off topic. with skins like that, they can start to increase in price over the long term, and they aren't just going to keep going down and down. Eventually, people are going to stop selling for these low prices. They're going to start building back up, and we're going to see what we're seeing now. Slowly starting to build back up, maybe sitting completely flat in price for a time. Maybe in the upcoming months, I still think they'll keep going up. But either way, they will work their way back up to those operation prices. People will stop selling since something like the Green Deagle is a pretty sick play skin. And then hopefully we're going to reach higher prices than that in the long term. But overall, why is this important? Who's to say these things don't just go completely flat for the next year? There's no chance of profit. No one cares about these skins, stuff like that. Well, that's a completely fair question to ask. But what I've got to say to it, and I've talked about this a million times as well, we've got a time in the market coming where we have no operation. Operation Riptide is set to end on February 20th, if you guys didn't know, and I think we're already starting to see the effects of it now that we're in the final weeks of the operation being added to the game. The vast majority of players that wanted to get stars and spend them on operation items have already, and that's just out of the spotlight. Same goes with the major items that have been removed from the game just a few days ago, so those are out of the spotlight as well for investors and players. No capsules to spend your money on, no souvenir packages, no stars in game, and once again, I think the attention is just going back towards these older items, play skins, investments like cases, just random stuff like that. My theory about the CSGO market is that we now have somewhat of an easy market cycle to keep track of. We know we're going to have operations which cause a huge dip in the entire economy's price, like everything in the market absolutely crashes when a new operation is released. Then, towards the end of the operation, we seem to see prices start to increase again, a possible spike in the summer or at least in the middle of a dry period, which we could be building up to right now. I'll come back to this in a couple months, I'm sure, and see if we actually did. And then, ideally, we'll see a new operation released a couple months after that. Prices tank again. What I assume we'll see is prices dip to higher lows, if that makes sense. Like, right here, I made a top quality graph for the butterfly knife. Ideally, we're going to see something like this where we see prices continue their climb up just starting from today, a possible spike in the next few months, a pretty massive dip as a correction from the spike just like we saw last time, if it is as honestly absurd as last time. But then we're going to ideally have some consolidation for a few months, once again just like we saw last time, and then another dip from the new operation being released. But then they continue their way up. Note that the price after the operation dip is around the price we see now, and I think that would make a lot of sense, which is why I drew it like that. Then we would be at that level as support, and it wouldn't be sort of a gray area that we could easily fall through in price because people haven't consistently proven they're going to be buying at that point for months on end. I'm definitely looking at this with actual technical analysis and seeing where people bought before in the past and if they're continuing buying there, and not just spitting out random numbers, pretty much looking at this the same way I would in a normal market or with crypto and just crunching numbers like that. Either way, we'll see how it plays out. Once again, either way, I've got really high hopes for the CSGO market in the future and think it will continue its uptrend, whether we see bumps or no bumps at all. I mean, I don't think we're going to see no bumps at all, but a man can hope. Either way, I think the market is strong, especially with these coming months where we've got, once again, just a dry period in the market. It's going to bring people's attention back to these older operation skins, older knives, stuff like that. And I think that's what you should be keeping your eye on right now, whether you own them, whether you want to buy in on some play skins. Either way, I think that's a good decision. And whether you're holding for long term or possibly wanting to sell in a few months with a huge spike, I think you could definitely be setting yourself up with success. But besides that, as always, if you guys did enjoy, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. And as always, check out the homies over at Skinport as well if you want to start building your CSGO inventory, buy some play skins and stuff like that. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.